Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the annual notice of the regular scheduled meetings of municipal council for the year 2022, which was published as a legal advertisement in the Herald News and the Record on December 11th, 2021. Further notice of this meeting was given on the Friday prior to the meeting by posting the said notice on the bulletin board at City Hall and on the City of Clifton website, which notice stated that formal action may or may not be taken before the matters of the council. Roll call?
Councilman Eagler?
Present.
Councilman Gibson?
Here.
Councilman Grabowski?
Here.
Councilwoman Murphy? Councilwoman Pino?
Here.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Here.
Mayor Anzaldi?
Here.
We have a quorum.
This evening's invocation will be given by Pastor Eric Farrar, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please rise.
Our Father in heaven, the King's heart is in your hand. The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of what is right comes from the Lord. Tonight we seek your face, O God. Show us your way. Lead us to right decisions. Guide us in the path of righteousness. We further ask in advance for the healing that this council will need in the coming weeks. Help them find common ground. Finally, we gracefully thank you for the service and legacy of Mayor Anzaldi and Councilman Eagler. May you give them the peaceful assurance that their service has not been in vain. Our hope and our trust is in you, O God. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Petitions and communications.
Various communications submitted by the city manager. Meeting minutes of the Committee for Individuals with Disabilities of October 17th, Passaic Valley Water Commission of October 26th, Board of Adjustment of December 7th, Alcoholic Beverage Control Board of November 9th, Historical Commission of November 3rd, CATV Committee of October 26th. This concludes communications, Mayor.
Communications are received and filed. Ordinances.
Second reading ordinances. 7782. An ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 367 of the Code of the City of Clifton entitled Restaurants at various locations, and to change the name of the chapter to Retail Food Establishments, revises licensing provisions, and updates various other sections to conform with state regulations.
A public hearing will be held on this ordinance. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Mayor, if no one should be heard, I move the public portion be closed. This ordinance adopted on final affirmative vote.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Eagler?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski? Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Anzaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. 7783, an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 439 of the Code of the City of Clifton, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, more particularly Section 439-37 thereof, entitled Handicap Parking on Streets, deletes one handicap space.
A public hearing will be held on this ordinance. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Mayor, if no one wishes to be heard, I move the public portion be closed and the ordinance be adopted upon final reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Eagler?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Anzaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. 7784, an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 439 of the Code of the City of Clifton, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, more particularly Section 439-38 thereof, entitled Handicap Parking on Streets for Private Residences, add 6 restricted handicap spaces.
A public hearing will be held on this ordinance. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Mayor, if no one wishes to be heard, I move the public portion be closed and this ordinance be adopted upon final reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Eagler?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Murphy? Councilwoman Pino?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Anzaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. 7785, an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 439 of the Code of the City of Clifton, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, more particularly Section 439-38 thereof, entitled Handicap Parking on Streets for Private Residences, deletes one restricted handicap space.
A public hearing will be held on this ordinance. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Mayor, if no one wishes to address the council this evening on this ordinance, I move that the public hearing be closed and this ordinance be adopted upon final approval tonight.
Second.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Eagle?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Ansaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. 7786, an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 439 of the Code of the City of Clifton, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, more particularly Section 439-38 thereof, entitled Handicap Streets for Private Residences, amends handicap parking placard number.
A public hearing will be held on this ordinance. Does anyone wish to speak?
Mayor, if no one should be heard, I move the public portion be closed. This ordinance adopted on final affirmative vote.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Eagle?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Ansaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. 7787, ordinance accepting, approving, and authorizing a roadway easement with Alexander Charles Realty Company, LLC, and Costco Wholesale Corporation for property at Block 72.06, Lot 38 in the city of Clifton for public roadway purposes.
A public hearing will be held on this ordinance. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Mayor, if no one wishes to be heard, I move the public portion be closed and the ordinance be adopted upon final reading.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Eagle?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Ansaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. 7788, an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 99 of the Code of the City of Clifton, entitled Salaries and Compensation, more particularly Article 2 thereof, entitled Non-Uniform Officials and Employees, Section 99-2, entitled Minimum Maximum Salaries Fixed, Uniform Allowances, amends 2022, 23, 24, and 25 salaries for non-DPW titles.
A public hearing will be held on this ordinance. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Mayor, if no one wishes to be heard, I move the public portion be closed and the ordinance be adopted upon final reading.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Eagle?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Ansaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. This concludes ordinances, Mayor.
These ordinances will be published in accordance with the law. Mr. Villano?
Mr. Mayor, just a couple of announcements. I just want to wish council, all the council members, all the fine folks in the audience, and those of you at home, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a blessed New Year. I hope it's a healthy one for everyone. Mr. Mayor, to you and to Peter, I want to thank you both for your service. I guess this is the end of the road, so I want to wish you well in your retirement, and it's been a pleasure serving for you for these past almost 13 years I've been with the city. I've certainly learned a lot from both of you, and I want to wish you both the best, and thank you.
Bill, I think your first night? Oh, I forgot about the public portion. This is the portion for the public. Oh. The public comments portion will proceed. I just want to read, because, we did have a large crowd, and we have a large crowd tonight, so everybody remembers the ground rules. Speaking is permitted for 5 minutes. Please refrain from any emotional responses, either in favor of or against a speaker. In order to maintain decorum, I request that no derogatory statements be made against any person. Members of the council are asked to refrain until the public portion is over and when they have the floor to the council. And last time, not everybody followed the rules, but let's try our best, okay? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, council, city manager, I just want to say, before all the fun starts, I want to thank the mayor and Councilman Peter Riegler for some 60 years of public service together, combined together. I've learned a lot, like the city manager had said. I've learned a lot from both of you. I wish only the best in the future, and happy and a healthy new year. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. My name is Tammy Gebbia, 21 Walnut Street. I'm back again. Okay, let me start off with conversations about what's going on with the city council. I have conversations with a lot of people, and everybody says, the question is that, why is Bill doing this? Good question. Why is he doing it? Who knows? Nobody knows. But I have heard also too, and I don't know if it's true or not, and I don't know if all the people of Clifton know if I heard, if they heard. I don't care if I'm stepping on shoes. I don't care if I burn bridges at this point. I really don't care, because it's not fair what's going on to the city of Clifton. Okay, so with that being spoken, I have heard that Tony Latona and Billy Gibson got together and said, let's do this. Let's go back to when Mr. Bates, and let's get Billy Gibson. Latona said, let's do this. Okay, so now we have, what came up is Billy can vote for himself. Then the word is that Pina is going to vote for Billy. Tony Latona is going to vote for Billy. And the deciding vote is Mary Sagicula. Okay? Supposedly, quote unquote, what I'm about to say, I would like clarification, is if what I heard is true, and me as a citizen of Clifton, New Jersey, and a voter, and a taxpayer, I don't own a house anymore, but I did, I have a right to know. And so does the city of Clifton voters have a right to know. So this is what I heard by a few people, and I kind of believe them, okay? That if Billy Gibson becomes mayor, then Pina is going to vote because she doesn't like Ray. And then we come to the deciding vote, which is Mary. And from what I hear is that Mary's going to vote for Bill Gibson to be mayor because Bill supposedly, quote unquote, again, this is why I want clarification, is that there is words going around that Mary's going to vote for Bill because she wants to get Peoria out and Volano out. Okay? This is what I'm hearing. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, that's your own agenda. We know you guys fight all the time. This is one of the reasons why I don't come here. This is one of the reasons why I don't watch it on TV. Unless someone calls me up and says, pardon my language, you gotta see the shit show that's going on. I turn it on, I get so disgusted. The fighting, nothing's getting done around this city, okay? So I would like clarification if that is true or if it's not true. And I think we deserve, the people of Clifton deserve the right to know whether this is true or not. Hey, you know what? You can come to me, all right? Billy can come to me, Pina, Joe Latona, Mary can come to me and say, we knew nothing about it. But you know what? How am I going to know you're lying or not? Because you know what? You guys are stabbing each other in the back, and nothing's not working here. Okay? I'm done there. Now I want to say to Pina, I saw you when I went home from the last meeting. I left and I watched it at home. I want to know. And I do read up, and I do keep up with the city council, even though I don't come here. I want to know, the 4 years that you have been in office, what have you done? What have you done? When I do watch the city council, with a friend of mine on the other end watching it too, we see you more out of your chair then you are in your chair.
You
And
have-
also,
you
too,
You have to finish,
I'm sorry?
Ms. Gebbia, you have to finish because your 5 minutes, the bell rang.
Oh, okay. So, and then Latona, Tony, I loved you. I don't know where he is, okay? But at the last meeting, you,
I can't let you go any further because you're at the 5
oh,
minutes,
okay.
5
Well,
minutes.
with that, good luck to you, Igor. Thank you, Mayor, and wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy New Year.
Okay.
And
Who's
I
next?
hope you pull it together and do the right thing. That's it. I'm done.
Hello, I'm Teresa Machette. I've lived at 24 Marlborough Road since 1992. I am here to support Mayor-elect Grabowski. It's not only the Polish community that loves him, every community in Clifton loves him. The citizens of Clifton came out in droves to vote for him, and he won by a landslide. If the shoe was on the other foot, Mr. Gibson, and you won by a landslide, Mr. Grabowski wouldn't challenge you. Why? He has class, the ability to walk with the kings and dine with the peasants. He's a great man, an honest and humble man who always strives to do the right thing to make Clifton a better place. Hopefully, this is just a temporary lapse of judgment on your part, because I'm sure you don't want to go down in the history books as Benedict Arnold II. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Gabriel. I've been a resident of Clifton for over 30 years. I know most of the people on the council, so I'm going to speak respectfully, but I'm going to speak directly. Again, I too am very concerned about what's going on with all these conversations about who and who's not going to be mayor. Let me be blunt. You're going about it the wrong way. The person who gets the most votes, that's been the tradition. It's been a tradition for a long time. Traditions can be changed. They're not etched in stone. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. You're doing it the wrong way. Let me be clear. Stop what you're doing. Think about what you're doing. Listen to the voice of the people. The person who gets the most votes, that's for the tradition. That's the person who should be mayor. Thank you very much.
My name's Bob Bate. I wish my dad was alive to see this. And, you know, when it happened to my dad, you know, he wasn't bitter, but hey, that's the way it happens. But, you know, it's wrong with what they're doing. Highest vote getter should get the job. So it's 1966 again. Thank you.
Evening, Abraham Eisenman. I'm just here to give a bunch of thank yous tonight. First, a thank you to Mayor Anzaldi. You've been mayor since before I was born. So thank you for your service to Clifton. Just got to be honest with you. Thank you to Peter for your service to the city, to the state. You've been all over public office for over 30 years, so thank you to both of you. Wish you well in your retirements and hope you continue to be a part of our great city. Second thank you I have to give is to the fire department of Clifton. There was a literal dumpster fire on my block earlier this evening, and thanks to the quick response of Clifton Fire and Police, they put it out before it spread to any structures. It's cold tonight. I heard it's going to be even colder over the weekend, but they'll still be out there keeping our community safe over the holidays and throughout the year. So thank you to Clifton Fire, Clifton Police, and the EMTs and every other first responder in the city for all they do. I know it's a little bit since the election, and maybe people forgot about the election, but I haven't had a chance to get back to council since the election. I had to work a couple of night shifts and some other things, so I didn't have the chance. So I'm really coming tonight to thank all those who voted for me, to thank everybody who came out and was part of the process. We thought we chose the candidates that we wanted, and those who won, we wish them well on the new council. So that's what I got tonight. Thank you to everybody. Thank you everybody who's out here tonight being part of the democratic process, and I hope you will continue to be a part of the democratic process for the next 4 years of the new council. Thank you and have a good night. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
How you doing, Mayor and Council? John Jaratowski, 14 Dougherty Drive, Clifton, New Jersey. I've been a tax-paying resident since '05. I always thought my taxes counted. I thought my vote counted. I made a vote for who I wanted to be mayor according to the bylaws that I was told, which would be the person with the most votes. So I made sure I got lawn signs out for myself and my neighbors. And now I find out my vote doesn't really count because it all comes down to a big boys club of who can actually become the mayor. If you didn't like the outcome of the election, maybe you should have changed the ruling prior to the election and said, here we are, these are the people that are going to run for mayor. And then the residents could have voted that way. Thank you.
Samantha Bassford, Clifton, New Jersey, and I'm embarrassed to be from Clifton, New Jersey tonight. What a waste of a time this is. What a waste. What a waste of resources this is. You know, I get both sides are unhappy, and I can see different points of views from people. I look at things very deliberative, very unbiasedly. But at the end of the day, it's a shame on us too. Because I didn't see people sitting in this room during the election or the past 4 years. This should not be surprising to you. Who is sitting here? Who aligns with who? Who gets along with stuff? This happened during the election. So this is a result of our uninvolvement in Clifton. So as much as we want to sit here and blame each and every council person, the ownership is on us too. And I know that's not the popular, happy opinion in this room, but it is the truth. That you should have saw this coming. And when you decided to maybe bullet vote, 4 votes, 2, 1, whatever your combination was, this is how it laid out. I keep saying we should get a Bravo show in Clifton, because look at the drama. I don't even need to pay for Netflix or Hulu anymore, because this is so entertaining. And talk about integrity and professionalism. I grew up here, you know, in the politic world because of who my parents are. So, you know, people have loose lips in front of kids thinking that they're not going to remember or understand things. But you also should have integrity on this council. Posting on Facebook to rally the troops to be here tonight. Let's throw more gas on the flame already. You should be professionals. You owe it to me. You owe it to people here. You owe it to people on the camera. Okay? So I don't care what side you are on, who wants to be who. Mayor, Bill, Ray, say your why. Say your why, your vision. Yes, you got the most votes. Great. People believe in you. But what do you want to do for me? What is your skill set? What is your vision? What is that? Because if you want to challenge the why, that is okay. Because this is kind of like a business. And businesses, to evolve, need to relook at their processes. You know, not everything has to change, but we have to progress. So it's okay to challenge people. If we didn't challenge things, then we would be dead, because we stop learning when we're dead. So if you want to challenge a process, say why. Make it a good argument. But it doesn't matter how many people are going to come up here and say, you're a good person, you're a terrible person, this person donated to your campaign fund, and it should be kind of a thing that people should be more concerned about. But take leadership and stop the circus. Because I want to know why we pay someone to sit in a car at the recycling center, which is supposed to be for sustainability, to help the earth, but yet we're putting fumes having someone sit there in a car. Those are the things that we should be looking at of how to better Clifton, not sit here and waste time because all of you are going to go away once mayor is picked. What do you care about? Do you care about who sits in that chair, or do you care about the vision of Clifton? So I hope that people who are coming here to the mic tonight really think about that, because that's actually what matters more. Not just one person sitting in the seat, but the entire community here. So everyone needs to put on their big girl, big boy pants, non-binary pants, and get with it and help Clifton to be better. Not sit here to fight about who got the most votes, because at the end of the day, that time will pass. It's going to come and it's going to happen. So what are we going to do when time passes? And what are we going to contribute? Or are you going to go away? That's what I want to know.
Angela Montague, Elm Street, Clifton, New Jersey. I'm here because I'm a little disappointed because years ago when Donna Sidoti was still working here, she ran, I believe it's called the Focus Awards, which went to the residents, the taxpayer that volunteered for subcommittees. But I haven't seen it. I sat this year on 2 committees and was never notified that we were going to get any kind of acknowledgement. Not that I'm saying that people volunteer to get some recognition, but when somebody comes to me and says, you know what, Angela, I appreciate everything that you do, that makes me feel so good that I want to keep doing what I'm doing. And so I'm like, it's a little certificate, maybe a cupcake, coffee. It's just an acknowledgement that we exist. We pay your salaries. And we're the ones that do the work, because you may be a liaison for a committee, and I have 2 that I worked with this year that use that as part of their political platform, which to me is not right, because I believe it's a paid position that they do as part of their being a council person. So when I see them getting all this glory and recognition, and the people like me that bust our butts to do all the work, I mean, I don't understand. So if you can bring the focus back, I don't understand how, I understand it's on a retired, but that's it. So, I want to personally thank every resident that's on a subcommittee that puts up with the crap that we have to put up with. And we get nothing. No recognition. I didn't hear anything during the campaign. I heard, I'm the liaison for this committee. I'm on the liaison for this committee. Not once did any of them say, it is my honor to serve as a liaison for that committee with the hardworking Clifton residents that pay the taxes, that do all the work. That's what should have been done. And that's what would have made a perfect council person. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. Thank you so much. Macy, can I walk in front? I'm sorry.
I'd like to start out with congratulating Mayor Anzaldi on his retirement. We go way back to the other side of Clifton, St. Paul's in particular.
Yeah, I have to say your name for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Ken Dalton, AKA Big Mouth, and 89 Brighton Road. And I knew Bill Bate and his brother, who was a good friend of my brother's. They went to school together at St. Paul's. And in 1962, my family moved to the other side of town, from Hilton Street to Van Ness Court. After that move, I met another member of the council, Bill Gibson. And, I don't know, I guess we were about 13, 14. We had a bicycle race down Van Ness Court on our 10-speed bikes. He won. But the point is that this thing that's going on right now, Bill, you're not going to win. This is no good. This is poisoning this council the next council before it even starts. And I don't know what the lady was mentioning before about the secret meetings and everything about this one. And I hear something like that, and if there is any truth to it, and if you know in your heart it's true, you're you're not doing the city no good. You're not doing me no good as a taxpayer, as a resident, as a retiree, the city fire department. And I would say to Bill, you know, this is poison. It's poison for the city, it's poison for the next council, it's poison for your reputations. And I hope you all think it over before you make the final decision, because I don't see any good coming out of it. This is no way to start. This is no way to start on a bad foot like this. You know what I mean? It's no way to start, and it's going to get worse as time goes on. So I'd urge everybody to think this over. And, you know, this almost sounds like something you would hear out of Mar-a-Lago. You know, he didn't win the election, I did. No. Councilman Grabowski won by 1,000 votes. And I hope that you people respect that and respect the citizens of Clifton. You know, I haven't been, last meeting was the first time in many, many years I was up here. You know, and I hope I don't have to come back. You know, like I said, I'm retired. I'd rather sit home and watch TV and fall asleep in a chair with my dog in my lap. But you know what? I will be back. And to satisfy the lady about people not coming, I will be here. And you will be hearing from me. And if there's a lot of nonsense coming on, I'm going to call you out. And that's all I have to share. Thank you.
My name's Joseph Korbanix, and before I begin, I'd like to thank the mayor and Mr. Eagler, Councilman Eagler, for their service to the city. No one's worked as hard as they have. They gave 8 days a week and 25 hours a day to the city. To the council, I'd like to quote something. "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty to ourselves, our prosperity, do ordain, establish this Constitution for the United States of America." I believe those words pertain to what's going on today. This is the preamble of the Constitution. And I believe it pertains to today and the situation that's going on in this City Hall chambers. A past practice is being disrupted by a member of the council who once supported the best interest of the city and people. Now it is the subject before us today. The past practice of voting, although not a law, as you could read in the preamble to the Constitution states, it is in the best interest of the people. 90,000 people believe in this election system that has taken place for nearly a century. The top vote getters should be named mayor to this position. Mr. Raymond Grabowski won this position, beating the second place finisher by 1,240 votes. You officials at the dais know how the people feel. Please act accordingly to the people who chose you to represent us. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Ira Manhoff, and I came out tonight in outrage of watching another example of democracy being overturned in our country. Okay, I'm sorry, but there's no excuses for the council members who all of a sudden after an election want to overturn policy that's been in place. We've seen enough examples of sore losers across the country who do not want to go along with election results. And we have to put a stop to it here and now, because democracy is the most important principle of our country. And if we don't stand up against it here and now, then everything is going to crumble. And that's all I have to say. Good night.
Good evening, Bill Goldberg,
350 Dwaz Line Road. Good evening, City Council members and members of the public. I believe this is my 5th time standing before you regarding the sidewalks, roadbed, and curbs on Dwaz Line Road. I will list all my valid points in the form of questions which still have gone unanswered by our city government. How could the city's requirement for continuous sidewalk be fulfilled on a 300-year-old Indian path that isn't straight? How could the city deal with Joanne Hilbreth's property line, which is under the road? Her home was the first built on the street and is not squarely oriented towards Dwaz Line Road. Why does City Manager Villano want to paint that part of the road on Mrs. Hilbreth's property red? What happens when the red paint is buried under snow? Why are all the newly built or rebuilt homes on Orwood Place in violation of the city's requirement to install sidewalks? And why are these sidewalk violators' complaints about Dwaz Line Road taken seriously? How will this project satisfy the complainers' young children's need to not cross any streets? Go around the block? I don't know. Why does Orwood Place, a narrow street where parking is permitted on both sides of the street, still lack continuous sidewalks? Why do Clifton taxpayers have to twice pay for this expensive project, mostly constructed in the city of Passaic? Why? I am now handing out photos of our lovely elderly couple who live in a small house across the street with a small garden. The Kaisers are famous for demonstrating how you can make a tiny garden plot look more impressive than a lot of the neighbors. Because the same garden in Passaic has been demolished twice to move the sidewalk and the retaining wall, they've lost approximately 10 feet of their small garden. This has to be taken care of. I don't know why the city was in such a hurry to get this done in the freezing weather where concrete doesn't really hold up really well, and why there's so much acrimony with the local residents there. Thank you.
Good evening, Gerard Scorziello, Pershing Road. I'm not against Councilman Gibson. I'm not here to oppose Councilman Gibson. As a matter of fact, I have a personal relationship with Councilman Gibson. I know Bill, my family knows Bill. As a matter of fact, during the campaign, I had a meet and greet at my house, and Bill was one of my candidates. What I am here to say is, Bill, although I understand you have a right to do what you're doing, I believe it's not right. It's just not right. You have the right to do it, but it's not right. Please do the right thing. It's causing a tremendous amount of division within the city, and it's just not right what you're doing. So please consider what's right for yourself, what's right for the council, and what's right for the city. To Mayor and Peter Riegler, thank you very much for your service.
Sharon Korbanek, Van Houten Avenue, Clifton. Hello, City Council and friends. There is still some, of course, unrest throughout our city, and all citizens are contemplating what the election outcome will be on January 3rd, 2023. Now, during this waiting time, points of concern have come up and are being questioned, such as it was mentioned why the highest vote getter didn't reach out to the elected council members. More importantly to me is, the question is and remains, is why the elected council members did not reach out to Ray Grabowski. Some have, but I think some have not. This would have been your premium opportunity for you to hold your head high, overcome your disappointment and or personal agenda, and to rise above and show your professionalism in class. You already showed your true colors to us. One slogan was used, "Make me your number one." meaning he wanted to be top vote getter, anticipating being mayor. So don't use one side to support your agenda, but leave out important intent to show your entire frame of mind. Please know that trying to take someone else's win will not make you a winner. To paraphrase a line, each man's life touches the lives of many. When this current situation is finalized, it will touch the lives of many, but it will also be remembered for this and all future generations ahead. For another paraphrase, one gentleman said, "I understand the problems. This will be the worst disaster in history." But another gentleman said, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I believe this will be our finest hour." All citizens implore you, all to make this Clifton's finest hour. Thank you.
Good evening to the council, and for the very last time, good evening to Councilman Eagler and Mayor Anzaldi. Councilman Eagler has been a source of calm and a voice of reason, regardless of the chaos that sometimes has gone on around him. He has an almost encyclopedic knowledge of Clifton history and politics, and he will be very missed. Although I am old enough to remember other mayors besides Jim Anzaldi, he has been a major part of Clifton history for more than 30 years. As with any other public servant, he has his detractors, but it's clear that there has never been a more beloved politician in Clifton than Jim Anzaldi. I'm only disappointed that his very last meeting has to be filled with such unrest. Thank you both for your years of service. During the last council race, there was much discussion, particularly on the various social media platforms in Clifton, of the desire for change. But Clifton has proven time and time again that it is a city that does not want change. How do I know that? There were 17 candidates running for council, many young faces, many who had never run for council before, and several that I supported. And when all was said and done, every current council person who ran for office was reelected. And the two new faces who will join the council in January were both previously elected to council in the past. Clifton is all about tradition. And while it might not be the law, it's the expectation when we vote for council that our top vote getter is our choice for mayor. And we expect our elected council to follow the will of the voters. Someone asked that tonight's speakers talk about the qualifications that would make either Mr. Grabowski or Mr. Gibson a better choice for mayor. A few interesting facts. Both Mr. Grabowski and Mr. Gibson graduated from Clifton High School the same exact year. They have both served on the council for about the same number of years, and if you were to go back and look at the history of their votes and their positions, you would find them to be remarkably the same. What sets them apart is this. Mr. Grabowski had about 1,100 more votes than Mr. Gibson. Therefore, Mr. Grabowski is the voter's choice to be the mayor. If the council would like to change the tradition of our city and the expectation of its citizens for how our mayor is elected, then put something on the ballot and vote on it for the next election. The way this is unfolding is a slap in the face to our voters. Thank you.
Hello, Richard Jaretsky from Parkway Ave. And before I get started, what I want to say, I just thought of something today about the rule, the tradition, or the law, whatever it is, that says the council has to vote for the top vote getter. I think that was supposed to be respected, and I'm thinking that like the spirit of the law was that between the election and the vote by the council, which is like a month and a half, if something came up that, you know, they did something illegal that they didn't know when the vote was taken, then you would go against that, and you wouldn't go with the top vote getter. But otherwise, I think it was meant the top vote getter is, without a doubt, it should be appointed. So on November 8th, I went out and I voted for the council, and I voted for Councilman Gibson. That was one of my votes, and I voted for Councilman Grabowski. And when I saw the results, that Ray won, and Ray won big, I was very happy. I said, this is great. Ray's going to be a great mayor. And then, like, out of the blue, this can of worms was open. 2 weeks ago, I happened to watch the council meeting, And I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea that this was, that they were trying to, some people were trying to backdoor Ray, And it's wrong. That's what I'm here to say. It's wrong. It's a can of worms that shouldn't have been opened. Put the worms back in the can and let's move on. I mean, the people have spoken. Ray won big. He won big. I endorse Ray, all the way with Ray. And please do the right thing, guys. And I hate to get negative, but I just have to say that if anyone on this council who doesn't vote for Ray, you'll never get my vote again. And I'm sure I'm speaking for hundreds and thousands of people. And 4 years, I know, is a long time from now. And you may think, well, we'll all forget it. And we're not going to forget it. We're not going to forget it. I'll be here. You'll see me again 4 years from now, reminding you if the right thing isn't done. So that's all I have to say about that. And Councilman Eagler, thank you for your service. Mayor Anzaldi, thank you for your very long service. We will miss you. We'll miss you, okay? Bye-bye. Thank you.
Good evening, Maureen McKee, Grove Street. My word is my bond. This has been part of my life because to me, your word is truly who you are. Your word is a promise. People count on you and trust you. I'm bringing this up because in 2018, the council members gave their word that they will respect the tradition and the highest vote will be the mayor. From what I've been hearing, there was no mention prior to the election or during the election that the tradition would not be honored. Mr. Gibson was approached by one or so council members to see if he would accept the nomination to be mayor. That was when he should have said no, but he said yes and broke his word. At this point, he lost the trust and respect of the voters who cast their vote for Ray Grabowski. He received the highest votes, and we expected him to be mayor. Something to ponder, Mr. Gibson. Why were you approached to be nominated? Do you think this nomination is in good faith? Is there a hidden agenda by the council members? Apparently, they do not believe in keeping their word. Can he, she, they be trusted? When the council members are sworn in on January 9th, 2023, you will be asked to serve the residents of Clifton and to make decisions that will be best for the city. You will have to give your word. Can all those who voted for Mr. Grabowski to be mayor trust you to oversee the city and hear their voices? This is the time for you to keep your word. Decline the nomination, support Ray Grabowski, and gain the respect and trust of the voters. Thank you.
Good evening. Chris Whitmire, Van Houten Ave, Clifton. I was hoping I didn't have to get up here again, thinking that this would have been all resolved, but unfortunately it hasn't. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of all the voters who have been deceived, the voters that contributed to the highest vote in electing Councilman Grabowski as mayor. Most voters were unaware of this protocol, that the new council has to technically elect the new mayor, regardless of the highest vote, which has been a long-standing tradition in Clifton. Mr. Gibson stated, "This matter of tradition is gone. If you think that this new council is traditional, you are so wrong." Mr. Gibson, if that's the case, then why didn't you state that in your campaign, I wonder? All that grandstanding just to change up when you're elected. Don't we have enough politicians in this country like that? I don't think you dislike tradition. I think you dislike anything that doesn't work out in your favor. Let me ask you, Mr. Gibson, if you, Ms. Pino, or Mr. Latona received the highest vote, would there be any other nominations for mayor? I don't think so, especially since we all know how badly the three of you wanted this position. At the previous election, Councilman Grabowski received the second highest vote. You didn't see him trying to contest Mayor Anzaldi. No, he honored the people's wishes. And all the years that Mayor Anzaldi held office, no one ever challenged his place as mayor. I wonder, why now? Poor sportsmanship? Or maybe backroom deals being made? And yes, Mr. Gibson, Ray did call you, so don't lie and say he didn't. And again, if people want the rules to change them before an election, not after. If you don't want to use past practices and change Clifton, then let the people decide, not only a few. It's not just your town, it's the people's town. And Ms. Pino, you speak about disrespect. Well, please, don't disrespect the people who the majority voted for Ray Grabowski to become mayor of Clifton. And to answer Ms. Popovich, no explanation is needed about who is more qualified for the position of mayor. That was answered by the voters. You hoped tonight no one would come up and speak again and be repetitive. Well, asking the councilmen to reiterate why they're the best for the position is unnecessary. That's what the campaign was the whole year. Please, think about what you're doing and how this will affect the people of Clifton. Many people will be angry, upset, and won't look very favorable upon you. How will Clifton look to other cities? It will look childish and deceitful. This will be a blemish on your character, and no one will ever trust you again. This country stands for democracy, so please honor that. And in the spirit of Christmas, let's remember, peace on earth, goodwill toward men.
Joanne Macbeth, 11 Wheeler Street. Pretty much everything has been said that needs to be said. The one thing I would like to add, in listening last time, it seems to me that there was a little bit of misunderstanding which led to some sour grapes, which led to this whole fiasco. I really think it could be put to an end tonight, and I hope, Mr. Gibson, you will do that. Mr. Igler, I've known you since I was a child over at the Athenia Veterans Post. Thank you very much for your service and everything. And Mr. Anzaldi, for the time I've worked with you the last 10 years or so, thank you for your service too. Mr. Gibson, you've been honorable, you've attended my events, we've worked together on things. I think you're a good man. I think you should rethink this whole thing and work with Ray and make this city better and bring this council back together again.
Good evening, Helen Kubik, 51 Gilly Street, Clifton. First of all, thank you once again, Mayor Anzaldi, for all your dedication to the people of Clifton. I wish you health and peace. I hope you will stay active in city matters. Councilman Igler, I never knew you held so many positions in your political career. I wish you health and peace also. I hope that you will again be on the council in the near future. I hope that the new council will be working together for the good of Clifton and the voters who elected you. Councilwoman Pino, I would like to hear your views regarding the work that CASA does in our city. Councilman Bill Gibson, I found it unusual that you thanked us at the last meeting for attending, for coming out to speak. Also, you explained the two-part voting system to us as if we never knew anything about it. we do understand that we vote for 7, and we do understand that, the highest vote getter usually becomes mayor. Well, you were explaining it to us like we never knew anything about it. I did. I don't know about the other people, but I'm sure it's common knowledge. And you spoke about integrity, that it was the most important thing to you, the most important thing, Okay. What about your integrity concerning your word to vote the highest vote getter as mayor? What changed your mind? Is that integrity or not? You should have considered your options before you gave your word. Not now, it's too late. The situation is a wake-up call to us voters on many levels. Council people should not have to be asked to do the right thing. We need to change the voting for mayor, the procedure, and we need to vote very carefully here on in. Councilman Gibson, I hope you ask for a skateboard on your Christmas wish list, because if the right thing doesn't happen, you're going to have to dodge 9,401 people in Clifton. Thank you.
Chris D'Amato, Merrill Road. To be honest, because I believe in that, I wasn't going to speak publicly until this debacle resolved itself. But I'm sitting here listening, and somebody who's sitting out here asked me shortly after the election results, having done so well, 8th place is not too shabby in a field of 17 for a guy who moved here in 2019. And what was the difference maker? What do you think you did right? And I stand by the fact that I was always honest, and I offered a message of hope. And I said many times throughout my campaign that our best days are ahead of us. And I believed it. I had a moment of doubt during last meeting, leaving here and seeing the looks on people's faces as they left this room, which spoke volumes louder than anything anybody said at any of these microphones. I have a curse for being someone interested in politics, and that curse is that I have the unfortunate ability to see the best in people despite what they display. And the new council, look, I wish I had a seat. That's why I ran. But there is goodness and decency in all 7 of you. Bill, you're a strong, stalwart, golden-hearted individual, and I know that. We've had many good conversations. Ray, you're a pillar in the community, a businessman, successful person. You're beloved. People in this town love you. Your name is on everybody's lips. Lauren, you're incredibly compassionate. You have such a big heart. You love animals. You love the homeless. You love the downtrodden. Rosemary, you're innovative. You think outside the box. You're not afraid to be bold and speak loud and say what's on your mind and try new things. Mary, you're a fighter. You're incredibly intelligent. You dig. You make sure that people think. It's an important role on the council, and I know that that's controversial to say. You have that kind of energy. And Tony is an incredibly generous soul, somebody who went out of his way to be nice to me and show me the ropes of Clifton politics. And I think Joe Kaloje is a class act and somebody who demonstrates a lot of intelligence and knowledge and understanding of government. So the 7 of you can do a good job. That's my point. Find the good qualities in yourself moving forward. I'm not going to comment on the mayor's thing or the tradition, because ultimately that's the symptom of the disease. And the disease is that you're letting this division and this toxicity and this resentment of the past 4 years, or however long it's been, get the better of these 7 people. Start showing people your best side. Or to quote the legendary Ray Lill, you can all go take a crap. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, seeing, go ahead.
Hello, I made it just in time. I'm sorry about my appearance, I just got off the plane, but here we go. I don't have anything prepared except for an email.
Okay, we need your name. We need your name.
My name's Angelique. I am the proud niece of Ray Grabowski. I just came from California. So I know that Mr. Gibson probably got a lot of emails. He didn't get a chance to respond to mine yet. So I'm just going to read it. My mom printed it out. I said, "Hi, Mr. Gibson. I said, you're probably receiving a good amount of angry emails and letters from the citizens of Clifton, so I'll get straight to the point. This message comes with no hostility or animosity, just disappointment. I've watched my family, including myself, work so hard on this campaign for my Uncle Ray. When I received the news in California that he not only secured a council seat again, but also got the highest vote, I was ecstatic. We've suffered heavy losses in our lives, including my uncle Matthew Grabowski, who passed away in 2015. All I immediately thought of was him and how proud he would be of his brother to become mayor of a city that he loved so well. This was a win for us. It's been a few rough years, but now we had something to celebrate and look forward to. That is until, of course, I heard about your displeasure with the results and the intent to steal his honor away for yourself. I urge you to reconsider. The attitudes of yourself and a few others have been extremely disheartening to hear about. That's not the attitude of the community that I call home. The younger generation looks to leaders to guide us and set an example of good morals. Everyone on the council should be working together, not fighting amongst one another. You all have the same goal, to make Clifton a better place, but that starts with yourselves. The people have spoken, and my Uncle Ray deserves to be the next mayor of Clifton. The dedication that he has for our town is unmatched, and he deserves to be he deserves to be the next mayor of Clifton. He makes me proud to be a part of Clifton and a part of my family. To take away my family's happiness would be a great injustice. You spoke in the newspaper stating that anyone would do the same thing. It's just business. I'm writing to tell you that you're wrong. Not everyone would, and especially not my uncle. If I were in your position, I would not either, because that's how he raised me. Please do the right thing. Please give me hope for the future with good people, not more corrupt and power-hungry politicians. You want to live a life that you'll be proud of, too.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Antonio Latona, 29 Samuel Ave. Just to save 5 minutes of speaking on both issues, what we talked about last week on choosing the next mayor and the issues on my treatment here in Clifton, I'm just going to stand by all my words and opinions from that meeting. So just to go on a few things that came up tonight, as we get together for the next council. Ms. Bassford brought up, about vision and this and that, so I definitely know I was one of those people, as when I ran in my contract with Clifton on what I was going to bring to the table coming to Clifton, those drastic updates to the master plan, zoning laws, the quality of life issues, the ending high-density housing. So that is definitely something I ran on and I was crystal clear on, and I agree on all members should, say who they are, what they're in favor of, and where they plan on bringing the city the next 4 years. Another thing that came up tonight, again, with transparency, I see again on the agenda tonight, Ordinance 7788-22, again, in the future, again, part of transparency, ordinance to amend, revise, supplement Chapter 99, the Code of City of Clifton, salaries, compensation, non-uniform officers and employees, minimum maximum salaries, but again, it amends 22, 23, 24, 25 for non-DPW salaries. Again, no one in the public has any idea what that means, what the cost is. So again, it's got to be a change with the future council where, for transparency reasons, everyone needs to know, what that means when that ordinance gets read at the public hearing. Sorry, I'm jumping around. Resolutions. I'm glad tonight also some of the resolutions were rescinded for spending money going into the next year. As everyone knows, we're looking at $11 million budget short next year, so there's going to have to be a lot of cost savings looked into, consolidation of positions to save money, revenue ideas from all of us at council to bring in money for next year. And lastly, the thing came up again with the sidewalks. Again, I did drive by. I've been against this spending of hundreds of thousands of dollars in another town. I will never understand, as the council member's doing. As everyone knows, I'm a retired fireman. It's 18 months, and we don't even have a firehouse open. But in the 11th hour, and I hear these comments of spite walks, and I have to say I agree, because I've been subjected to not spite walks, but investigation spite, charges spite, pension delays spite, and those types of issues. So I understand where that's coming from, that how we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for sidewalks, again, in another town, between being in Passaic, over $200,000, the labor time and hours being spent, how they're getting put down in the dead of winter. I'd love to find someone else in the state of New Jersey who's putting sidewalks down. So to say this isn't being done in the week leading up to Christmas at the 11th hour, it just goes to show if the city wants to do something, it sure has a track record to do it, depending on what they want to do. So it's something that shouldn't have been done. I guess it's too late to reconsider, but I assure you, when those sidewalks start breaking up into concrete in the spring from putting them down in the dead of winter, we're all going to have egg on our face. So that's all I'm going to say tonight. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to everyone. Good night.
Henry, Clifton, New Jersey. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. Look around, my neighbors, look around at each other. This room is packed to the rafters again. This is a beautiful thing. We even have 4 or 5 underpaid cops making a little extra money tonight just before Christmas to help their families. Had we had this crowd 3 months ago when I was up here throwing snowballs about spite walks, maybe the council, at the behest of the man sitting in the middle, wouldn't have started initiating this idea. We were told initially that this was a $100,000 job. 2 weeks later, Mr. Villano said, I misspoke. It's a $200,000 job. Looking at the job now, it's costing us a whole lot more, and the beneficiary, Mayor Hector Laura of Passaic. We just took care of his sidewalks, we took care of retaining walls, and you know what? We don't have a continuous sidewalk at all. This council, I'm not here, I don't care who ends up being the mayor, because for the last 8 years, it's been so dysfunctional. It's been 6 against 1. The claws come out. Who's filing harassment charges? Who's doing this? Who's wasting your money? If this room was filled the way it is tonight, people would get up and start saying, stop pissing my tax dollars away, because we have parks that need to be fixed. We have schools that need to be fixed, roads, potholes, but no. We spend money elsewhere. We have a firehouse that's been out of service for 18 months. You could have hired 3 firemen that run contracting business, and they would have had the job done in 2 months. But no, this all had to go out to bid. I'm not interested who's going to be mayor. That's not up to me, but I'm tired of spending money foolishly, and this is what's been happening here. To you, Peter, welcome back. Enjoy your retirement. I wish you many years of health and happiness. You've been nothing but a statesman, a politician. You've been one of the best things to hit Clifton. The man in the middle, I can't say the same about you. Jimmy, you pray to God all the time, so... No, I don't have to sit down. This is my time, and I'm allowed to speak.
Point of order, Mayor.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. And the rest of yous, I hope you can find a solution to this problem. Merry Christmas, happy and healthy New Year. And again, Peter, thank you very much for everything.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Oh.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Matthew Trella. I live at 33 Tanson Lane. First of all, congratulations on a long terms serving for both of you. You've done a wonderful job, and although we've had our differences over the years, I congratulate you on sacrificing yourself on that proverbial altar of public service. It's most important that our elected officials correspond with the populace. That could have very easily been done in this election, and it wasn't. I would say if you have, 300 people here, there would be 299 and a half that would believe that the high vote getter becomes the mayor. Is that legally necessary? No, but everybody expects it. And I think that you, Mr. Gibson, and anybody else who wanted to challenge that, owes an obligation to the people in this audience, to the residents of the city of Clifton, to say that ahead of time. You could have said it ahead of time. You could have won the election by 1,200 or 1,300 votes, as Mr. Grabowski did, or you could have lost the election by 1,300 votes. But you would have been an honest man and an open man. And in that point, you failed us. So that's all I have to say. You owe it to us to be honest and open. If you can't be honest and open, you don't deserve to sit up there. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Trini Mestre, 63 Valley Road, Clifton. This is very educational. I'm a political science major from the 70s, Rutgers University. My duty as a community advocate, wherever I go, I don't have to live in a particular place. If the opportunity arises, I participate. This is very good. You should repeat this very often in every meeting, because the voice of the people who are the taxpayers is the voice that our elected officials need to listen to and abide by. If not, there is a remedy. In other places, it's called recall. You don't have to take 4 years of something that you don't deserve when you are looking for something well. I know Clifton, the beautiful city, 60 years ago. From the 80s to the 90s, I was a successful realtor for Ensme and from Prudential. And I was so proud when I sold a property to anyone that will afford it and will be accordingly. This was a beautiful city. Really, you need to come back to where it was. My children went to Paul VI. I have 2 daughters, Clifton. Everything was beautiful. I didn't mean it was perfect, but it was moving forward with the progress. I hear so much difference of what is going on. And my advice, I just wanted to say hello. My brothers own property here, my nephews, my nieces, they've been here for over 30 years. So it's not that I'm like a stranger that come to put her 2 cents, but Clifton is a city that has always been a city that wanted families to bring their children and make them valuable to the community. So defend your city, work for your city, be at the meetings of your city and hold your elected officials accountable. And all I have to do is, I love Clifton. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is George Anthony. I just came to the front here because I just want to say thank you for Mr. Peter Eagle for all the years that you bring the knowledge, the wisdom to this city. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to try to work in your campaign. I wish you the best. I wish you God bless you and give you a lot of help. Continue doing what you love doing. My mayor, I want to give you thank you also for those 30 years that you've been a mayor to this great city. Thank you for marrying me in 1995, me and my wife, Eliana. It was a blessing and continue to be a blessing. I hope you guys get together and do what is best for this city, because leadership is about the community and the people. God bless.
Anyone else? Okay, motion's in order.
If no one else wishes to speak, Mayor, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Hey, Mr. Villano, the only real question we had were from Mr. Goldberg about the sidewalks, and I know that you've answered before, but do you have anything further to any of the questions he asked?
Mayor, there were several questions. Anything in specific? I did address all those issues with Mr. Goldberg, as well as the 8 residents of both Clifton and Passaic. So I've met several times. We went over the questions. I don't know what else is to be answered.
Okay, that's your answer then. Okay, we start tonight with you, Bill, I think, right?
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, I want to say, Peter, thank you for all the years of service. I have to also say to you, thank you for kind of guiding me, and when things I wasn't sure about, that I would call you, and we spoke many times. And I want to thank you for all the things and all you said to me. So I really appreciate that. I wish you all the best. I wish you all the health. We all know how these things happen, and from the bottom of my heart, I really wish that you do well, and congratulations. Mayor, you realize that we actually know each other since 1969, when you were in Art Mazowiecki's office and I was in the small building painting the stop signs. And I still remember speaking to you back and forth from the garage up to Mr. Mazowiecki's office. So from 1969 to today, I want to thank you for all the things that you've done for the city, for all the things that you have helped me with, your guidance, and I just wish you all the best and best of the health. Okay, I'm going to also ask you, because of the seriousness of tonight and because of all the people that have come out tonight, if I go a little bit over time, I'd like to ask my council colleagues if I could just have maybe a minute or two, if I wind up needing it. I think that I can streamline this, but if I can't, I think that I at least owe the public an explanation, so I do not want to miss anyone. So if that's okay with you, I'd like to have a little bit of extra time tonight, so I can address the people. Okay, Tammy, Gebbia, you came up first and you asked me if the information that you gave out to the public is true. So I'm going to tell you that the information that you have is incorrect and not true. So I hope that that answers your question. Secondly, we talk about integrity. I'm telling you now that with all the people that are here tonight, I want to thank you, and as a matter of fact, young lady from Gilly Street asked me about that, said it was interesting that I thanked the people coming out in support of Ray. Make it clear that I appreciate that the people come out tonight in support of Ray Grabowski. I have absolutely no problem with that because you're exercising your First Amendment right of freedom of speech, and you're also coming out to what you believe is the appropriate information that we, the council, should be given. Make it clear also that I am going by what the rules are. If the... I would ask that you at least be respectful about it. You may not like what I'm going to say, and I can appreciate that, but you have to, I gave you the opportunity, I want you to give me the opportunity. In addition, I'm going by the rules. Before this gets way out of control, which it pretty much has, I want you to know that I am going by what our form of government is. Nothing more, nothing less. I have to repeat again what I said on December 6th, that if Ray Grabowski becomes the mayor, I do not have a problem with that. I will work 100% for Ray, and I'm going to work for the best of our city, because that's what you would expect. The fact of the matter is that it's a nomination. Keep that in mind. If somebody asked, and it has, people have asked me, would I accept the nomination? We haven't even gotten to that stage yet. So all of this that's going on may not even come to fruition. Nobody knows whether Ray or myself or anybody has the votes. Let's keep that in check. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about how our form of government works. I am working within the form of our government. If you understand our form of government, you will understand why, once you vote for the 7 people to be elected for your next council, your obligation is done. It is up to the next 7 people to vote who is going to be mayor. So when somebody asks if you would accept the nomination, that's just a nomination. It is not being the mayor. Only the people, the 7 people, decide that. So of the people that have talked about tradition, and I am here, I am not fighting this in social media like some people are, that some people stir the thing up to try to keep it going. You know what that does, ladies and gentlemen? That makes me stronger. What that does, you can boo, you have the right to do that. I'm going to tell you that I'm telling you honestly, you talk about integrity and honesty, I'm telling you right now that the more that you talk about that and you don't know what you're talking about, it only makes me understand how the people don't understand how our form of government works. My turn to talk, sorry. Because I owe you the explanation. I owe you the explanation. So you're hearing it from my mouth to your ears. I think you should be respectful. It only shows what you're all about. In addition, you want honesty? You're getting honesty. When we talk about change, that can happen later on. We didn't know about that when we were at the election. When we talked about the topics of election, this last election, was about change and communication. This, and as I said before, these 7 people that are now are going to be your new council people, are not traditionalists. And if you think so for 1 second, then you haven't been listening to the campaign. I want to address 2018 election. You keep on bringing that up. It's a facade. The fact of the matter is, the 2018 election, we were asked if whoever came out number 1, would you support that? That was the question. That was the question. That was not asked us in 2022. In addition, let me finish. Ladies and gentlemen, give me the courtesy of answering your questions. You want honesty, but you don't want to listen. So I want you to understand exactly where this is coming from. In addition, different candidates, different issues between 2018. So 2018 has nothing to do with the 2022 election. Angelique, who is the niece of Councilman Grabowski. I have some questions for you. If you said...
No one is to speak. That's the rules of order.
Thank you. I did not get your email. I'd like to know which one you sent it to, and you can tell it me later on, because I would absolutely answer you. I received about 10 emails. About 10 emails. I addressed every single one of them. I answered every single one because I thought that you deserved an answer. You said that there was a displeasure of the result. I'm not. I'm not displeased. There's no displeasure on my end. I'm making it clear to you that I'm very happy being number 2. I'm very happy.
I just want to tell you, Bill, the 10 minutes are here. Bill, the 10 minutes are here. So I have to just ask, if you want to have a little more time, we need permission of council by our rules of
I
order.
probably have maybe about a minute.
Okay. Is there
So
an objection?
It's up to the
Anybody
council,
to
but
give one more minute?
I want the people to know that they deserve an answer.
Okay,
And I want to give it.
Bill, let me just.
Are we okay with it?
If there's no objections, so order.
Thank you. As I said before, if Ray becomes the mayor, I'm not disappointed. Make it clear, you heard it from my lips to your ears. I'll work 100%. But I am a law enforcement guy. If this is what the rules are, I abide by the rules. That's it. And if you don't know what our form of government's about, read it, please, so you understand why this is happening. And keep it in mind, the only question that I was asked is if I was nominated, would I say yes? That is the only question. So please, you can believe what you want, but keep it in check. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mayor. I can appreciate everything Councilman Gibson said, and of course, he certainly is entitled to his opinion. During the past election, and I don't want anyone to forget it because you're all here and I appreciate you coming, is we voted with the intention that the high vote would become the mayor. I know it's protocol, it doesn't have to be, but that's what we believed, and everyone up here expected that if they got the high vote too, that they would be the mayor, and I'm sure if it was the other way around, would be sitting in the same place if when somebody challenged them. That, I believe, is a fact. And, when we're elected to serve the public and not serve ourselves. And the public are the voters. And I remember when I first got elected, reading this somewhere, and it said, when officials stop serving the public interest or the voters, and instead serve themselves and those willing to pay the price, good government goes out the window. It has a steep price because it erodes government integrity and public trust. We entrust our elected officials to look out for the best interest of the people, and in this case, the best interest of the voters, not the best interest of ourselves or themselves. So what I'm saying here is, I can understand what Councilman Gibson's saying. He's trying to explain the rule, but in Clifton, the rule has always been the high vote, not who's better, who's worse. It's not. We vote with the intention of high vote, and not because it's me, because if it was someone else, I would expect the rules too. So I'm just saying, we are elected to serve the people, not ourselves. That being said, anyhow, I'd like to say to Peter Igler, because this is his last council meeting, at least for the next 4 years, until he runs again 4 years from now, which we're hoping he does, because he's a wealth of knowledge. And, over the past years, I've learned so much from Peter. We grew up in the same neighborhood. We went to the same church. I've known him probably since I'm 6 years old, going to St. John Canty. And, he loves the town. He's served the town well in many, many capacities. And I don't think anyone knows more about government than Peter does. So it's going to be sad to see him go, at least for a couple of years. But I'm sure, Peter, you'll be back. And to Mayor Anzaldi, I know this is your last meeting, and I'm sorry it had to be met with such contention. I know Jimmy a long, long time, probably before he was even the mayor. Actually, he was friends with my brother Matt, and they had a great relationship together as friends. My brother actually loved Jimmy, considered him one of his good friends, and I know Jimmy really cared about my brother. And I know when he passed away, it affected Jimmy greatly. And I remember all the times that my brother never laughed so much except when he's with Jimmy. And I don't know what they laughed about, but they laughed an awful lot. And they were good friends, and I appreciate that friendship, and he's been a good friend to the family. Jimmy served this town well, he was the face of Clifton, and it's going to be sorry to see him go. And I'd like to thank him for all the service, and I've sat on his right side for the past 2 terms. I've been on the planning board with him. I've learned a lot, and Jimmy doesn't say a lot to anyone. He usually says a few words and he walks away, and you know what I'm talking about. But it's a great honor to be with him, and I've learned a lot, and I'd like to continue to serve on the city council in the capacity that I can, but I think we're all going to miss him, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And Jimmy, I'd like to say thank you for everything. Thank you all. I'd like to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure working with you, Councilman Igler. We go way back. We've been through a lot together, and you have taught me a lot, and I appreciate everything that you have done for this city, and I hope you will remain in working with us in the future. Mayor, I haven't known you for many years, but I'm glad I've gotten to know you for the last 8 years. You too have taught me a lot, and I'm proud to have served with you, so thank you. As far as all the other stuff that's going on, Billy, I have absolutely nothing against you. We have been on many committees together. We have been liaisons together. We don't always think the same, but we do. We have worked together to make Clifton a great place. And when all this started, and still I can't figure out what is in this for you. I don't know if you were getting pressured or promises. I'm not sure. I've been trying to figure it out for a month. But whatever it is, I hope you reconsider and you take into consideration all the people that have come out for the past 2 meetings and realize that they are speaking for the majority of Clifton, and that's what we need to do. As I said the last time, I came in third of 17, and if I were approached or someone nominated me, I would say no, because that's not what the voters of Clifton want. And as everyone else has said, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and hopefully we'll have a blessed 2023. Thank you.
Good evening. So a couple housekeeping things before we get into what everyone is here for. The Theater League of Clifton is excited to announce that tickets to our 2023 dinner theater show, Miss Sugar Nuns, are now on sale. To kick off the holiday season, the Theater League is offering a limited time discount of $5 per ticket. Just use the code HOLIDAY, and this would make a perfect gift in case you're still looking out there, last minute shopping like I'm doing. This year's performance was sold out, so make sure you get your tickets early. You can find us on Instagram, and those dates, it's about 10 shows for February and March, so more details to follow. I want to also remind the public that the health department, we are having our COVID clinics. We're still having them on Wednesdays, right, Mr. Volano? From 9 to 12?
That's correct, yes.
So don't forget, the boosters are out. Things are getting bad out there, so please don't forget if you qualify to get your COVID booster. Helen, I believe, was the speaker's name, asked me how I felt about the work that CASA does. I think the work they do is outstanding. And if you'd like to speak further about it, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I want to thank the mayor and Peter for all their dedication and hard work to the city of Clifton, and congratulations and good luck on your retirement. On a personal note, I want to wish my son Jackson a very happy birthday, which just passed this week. And with the holidays upon us, I want to wish everyone happy holidays and an amazing new year ahead. So now, I just want to address some things that speakers mentioned while they were talking. Let's starting with Tammy. I guess I have to say, I'm not sure if you're still here, but you shouldn't listen to rumors. With regards to your question as what I've done, please feel free to reach out to me because there's hardly enough time at this time to tell you everything that I have done. So please feel free to reach out to me and I'll gladly tell you. And just for the record, my last name is pronounced Pino. So on to Sharon. I believe you asked why haven't we reached out to Ray? Well, it's because I'm not looking to be mayor. He is, and he's looking for my support. So I believe that's the way it works. I don't know. At least that's the way it works in my world. But to that point, let me just inform you of something that I didn't mention at the last meeting. Oh, there you are, Sharon. I did actually, I did ask to meet with Ray. Actually, myself and Mr. Gibson asked to meet with Ray. And when the time came to meet with him, I was waiting because I wanted to talk. And he actually stood me up. He said he wouldn't meet with me. He would only meet with Bill. And Bill said, but we are scheduled at 1 o'clock and Ro is here. Nope, don't have to meet with her. Me and you, Bill, we go back as kids, not meeting with her. Then a couple hours later, he called me and that's when we had the conversation over the phone and all that stuff. So I hope that answers your question. Kim, you made a comparison as far as Bill and Ray and how they're very similar, graduated the same year. And then you said, well, what sets them apart? I can't quite remember what you thought set them apart, but I'll tell you what I think sets them apart, and that's leadership. So, a gentleman by the name, I'm sorry, I'll stop talking until you guys finish booing. Mayor, can you please control your meeting?
Keep on speaking, Councilwoman, please. Keep on speaking, Councilwoman.
Okay, so a gentleman by the name of Richard mentioned the people have spoken. You're absolutely right. The people have spoken. That's why on January 3rd, the 7 individuals that were either re-elected or elected will be sworn in because the people have spoken. That's as far as that went. When you went out to vote that day, you were voting for council. Okay, I don't want to continue that because, I mean, we keep saying that. I'm not sure where we're getting caught up. Chris, you mentioned that if this is the way we wanted to do it, we should have changed the rules. What rules? Tradition is not a rule, it's exactly that, tradition. So should we have changed the rule for the top vote getter? Because then we would have had to change that. In that case, that wasn't done, so it's a moot point. And lastly, I guess, I just want to speak to Ray. Since, for whatever reason, you don't want to speak to me, I'll speak to you. And I guess I just have one question. Is this the best you got? It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I thought, well, maybe something got lost in translation, and after I said it publicly, what were my reasons? Maybe you would reach out, but never did. So it makes me think, as a leader, leaders usually are able to say, let me unify people, but instead, for whatever reason, you want my vote as mayor, but you can't find it within yourself to reach out to me and talk to me. How does that work? Instead, you bring out your constituents, and this is to shame Bill. This is the best you have. This is Clifton. Is this the best that Clifton has? What's going on here? I don't understand. I don't understand what rules you guys are going with. You do not get more bees with vinegar. Oh,
Okay,
I just called a bitch? Oh, Mayor, I think that lady just called me a bitch. Right there. Oh, look, and she just said I am, Mayor. Can you please handle that? Oh, she just said I am. Right there, right in the middle. Can you wave? Let him know who just...
We have
Oh, go
police
to
officers
hell.
here. Continue to speak.
I'm sorry, Mayor, are you really not going to... The
I-
resident just...
I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. I didn't hear it.
Wow. So this is exactly why tradition cannot continue to be tradition, the status quo. So,
Come on. Let her finish speaking, please, okay? That's what the rules of order say.
anyway, so that's all I have for you folks. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and all the best for the New Year's. Get home safe.
Yeah, she knows.
Good evening. I'll be very short tonight. I wish all of you the blessing of peace, the beauty of hope, the spirit of love, the comfort of faith. May these be your gifts during this wonderful season. I wish everyone a very happy and a healthy New Year. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Peter, you're next.
Well, what I told my sister I was going to say tonight, live from Clifton, it's Tuesday night. And we had 4 years of this BS. It should be over. The election was 6 weeks ago. We should be united. We should be working together. We have a lot of issues to deal with. $11 million shortfall, a 22-point tax increase if we don't find the extra money. Who can afford that? What are you going to do? Sell your front door, sell your back steps? Enough is enough. I said 4 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, you're opening the wrong door. Work together. This is not the way we're supposed to be. First, I have some housekeeping matters. Through your mayor to the city manager,
Go ahead.
recycling guide. What's the status? When is it going out? Because regardless of what, life's going to go on after January 3rd. We got a city to run.
Councilman Eagler, I just approved the recycling guide, so it will be mailed out this week.
And so when is it going to hit after January?
No, it will be mailed out this week.
And if you don't get one, you can pick one up here at City Hall.
I'm sorry?
If you don't get one in the mail,
Oh, there'll be copies outside the courtroom.
okay. First, I
You know, Peter, I think it's online already because
Yes,
I had
we put it
I
online
think it's
as well.
online, right?
Very
Right.
good.
Yes, I had a question.
Now, recycling center, Monday, December 26th, we're going to observe as Christmas, even though it's Sunday. Will the recycling center be open on Monday, or is it going to be open again on Tuesday? People get a lot of packages for Hanukkah, a lot of packages for Christmas, and the bins get filled up real quick. So and people don't care if the gate's closed. They got boxes in their car. They're going to walk around the gate and dump it in the dumpster because they're not coming back.
So typically, the recycling center is closed on Sundays, and we will honor that for Christmas, but it will be open on Monday.
Very good. Okay. Vegetative waste picks up. Last day is tomorrow, and then next week is the final pickup. So if you got some leaves that need to be still put out there, get them out so we don't have them sitting around until March. Now, I did some, a lot of quotes going on, published quotes the last few days on the social media. So I found one good published quote. This week is the traditional feast day of St. John Canty. He was a cleric in Poland in the 1400s. Here's one of his quotes. I think it still means well today. Fight all error, but do it with good humor, patience, kindness, and love. Harshness will only damage your soul and spoil the best causes. That's what's going on here. This harshness is spoiling the best causes. You all want a good city, but this isn't the way it's going about. I want to thank everybody for their kind words tonight, for their support and kindness toward me all these years. I've been here since 1990, for 32 years, except for the last 28 years. 4 years I was the county commissioner. At that time they were called freeholder. We used to call them freeloaders. But finally was changed to county commissioner. I used to like the translation in Spanish, La Junta de las Properties. I never knew I was a part of a junta. But that's what I was, a part of a junta. I remember telling that to one of the freeholders from Sussex County, where there's not a lot of Spanish people. They go, I can't wait to go home and tell my life I belong to a junta. The years have been good. There's been fights. My political obituary was written many times. Hell, my real obituary was written many times. You know, they wanted me out. But guess what? The people put me back. I wasn't supposed to win the first time. I wasn't supposed to win re-election. I'm still here, and I'm leaving on my terms. You know why? Because they told the people the truth. They didn't believe my BS. They didn't vote for me. If they believed me, they voted for me. We tried to get things done. We tried to remind people when things were so they can apply for the different programs so they didn't have to worry about losing their houses. How many seniors and how many of their family members, when I would go to wake, my mother said if I didn't hear about the senior tax freeze, she would have never been able to keep her house. It's about giving a service to the people. So all this in your face and who didn't do what to who didn't do what, and I wasn't this and I wasn't that. What happened to the we? What happened to us? What happened about being together? Where's the good? That's what we got to worry about, the good. We got to get this through this next 2 weeks. And I guess we're all going to be back here on January 3rd. We'll see what's going to happen. So stay tuned, because it's going to, like I said at the beginning, live from Clifton, it's Tuesday night. Sit down, please sit down. Mayor, thank you for all years of service. Thank you to my colleagues. Thank you, everybody. It's been a rough couple of years, but I'm still here. And I certainly hope and wish everybody have a very Merry Christmas, a blessed Hanukkah, and a very happy and healthy New Year. God bless. And I'm not leaving town. This isn't goodbye. It's more like the Germans say, Auf Wiedersehen, or into Spanish, hasta la vista, until our next visit. So God bless all of you. God bless Clifton. Let's work together.
Can I go now?
Sure.
Okay. First thing I have to do, like a little homework here. The TV committee is doing the slides. So if you have any pictures of your families, either this year or even in the past, if you could send them in, they're doing a whole video of all the different kind of pictures. They did it last year and the year before, and it really has turned out to be really a great thing for people to see their families in front of their tree or lighting their menorah or whatever. It's been a wonderful thing. So you could submit your photos to cliftoncable7740@cliftonnewjersey.org. And I believe you could do it up to like the 3rd, if I remember right, of January. I forgot to write down the exact date, but I think it's a great thing. So if you want to do that, it would be a really great thing. If you're not a computer person, if you bring the hard copy, you could bring it to the office and they'll scan it and give it back to you. Okay, so I haven't had to use this that much during these years. I do want to tell you just the beginning of this story about this gavel, because this gavel is the gavel of the first female mayor of Clifton, Anna Lettieri, and she was sworn into office on May 26, 1970. And it wasn't here in City Hall. It was an interesting story. When I was working for a living, running the company, I moved a desk one day, and I found this gavel in the desk. And Anna had died by then, but her son, Sal, who was a doctor, was around. I called him. I said, I found your mom's gavel. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, keep it, Jimmy. Maybe you'll need it someday. So I kept it. And when I first became mayor in 1990, strangely enough, the Lettieri family, Sal and Jean Lettieri, who many of you knew from the Dayton Bar and Restaurant, whose daughters are still my very good friends, gave me a new gavel. So I had this one upstairs in the office in the drawer. So I come to the meeting one night, and I opened the drawer to get the gavel out, and this gavel's in there. No name or no inscription. We don't know whatever happened to my first gavel. So I start using Anna's gavel after that. And it gives me strength every meeting, because this was a strong, good woman who had very good ideas about Clifton and was not afraid to speak out as mayor or as a council person before, because she was the first elected female mayor, council person in 1966. And that election has been talked about a lot in the last 4 weeks. I can still remember going to Anna Lettieri's headquarters on Main Avenue, right across from the rec center. Some of you ladies might remember LaFay, the place where people had gowns made and things like that. It was right next door. And next door to her campaign headquarters was Bill Bates. And Bill Bates was someone who grew up in my neighborhood on Park Slope, and even though he was not the same political party as my parents, he was a neighborhood kid. And they were very upset that he did not become the mayor. And that was something that lived in the neighborhood for a long time. So it's something I just remember. And when I saw Bobby get up to the mic tonight, wow, that's a memory. Because at that time, he wasn't even born yet. So it's just like many people were not born when I became mayor. I thought that was a good quote tonight. But I don't know what more to say than to give great thanks to all the people of Clifton, all 90,000 people. Sure, there's going to be a handful of people that, when you're in public life, there's going to be a handful, that are not going to like you. Certainly, I think the most I ever got in any election was 84% of the vote. And so that means 16 other percent didn't vote for me. They voted for other people. But in every election, the people of Clifton have honored me with great pluralities. I want to just say one thing, what I heard tonight. I want to tell you this. 8 times in a row, I never called any council person to ask for their vote. Never. They came to me. And the very first time, it was Les Hershaft. Lester Hershaft and I were like father and son. Him and his wife were very, very special to me. And I'll never forget the night of the election, we were at the Athenia Vets, like it was my lucky charm. And Lester reached out, and he said, Jimmy, you got more votes than me. And I am so happy and so proud of you because you're like my son. And that's the way it was. These last 4 years haven't been like that. You all know that. Everyone knows that. That's the reason I didn't run for re-election. I would have run for re-election, possibly, but I just didn't want to be part of all the toxic things that were going on, especially the things that were going on with a lot of our workers here in City Hall. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the way that they were being picked on, bullied, harassed. And, you know, that's where I started. I started as a city employee. Billy mentioned it earlier. As a summer kid, I remember cleaning the park. Nash Park was the first time I ever even learned what the hot grill was. Now it's my first home. But I remember using that big mop with the big bucket to clean the bathrooms in Nash Park. And some of the kids didn't want to do it. Well, I liked doing it. It didn't bother me at all. And we used to have to pick up litter in the park with this long stick with a nail on the end. You pick it up like this. Soon after, I started to go to council meetings because one of the people who ran for council in 1970 was also a member of the Republican Club, which I grew up in. And I met at that time, in that election, Jerry Zecker. More than 50 years we're friends. I'm godfather to one of the kids, Carrie. I'm so proud of the relationship that we've had all these years. And the following election, 1974, he won big, and we worked hard for him, and it was wonderful. In 1978, Jerry became the mayor, and I got on council. Nobody ever thought I could get elected on council in my 20s. That was an unheard thing in Clifton, but the people responded. We had no money. We went knocking on doors, and we had flyers. I had somebody of a blessed memory, Tony, who printed flyers in his basement. He had a printing machine. And we went door to door, and at that time, I met so many people. So did my father, my brothers, my uncle, my friends. Everybody was knocking on doors. You know, it was an unheard of thing anymore. But in 1970, people were still home during the day. It was a little different. So in 74, Jerry's campaign, we continued to do that kind of a thing. And in 78, I did it. These flyers, I can still remember all the different flyers. It was really a great opportunity for all of us. And I got elected. Well, 4 years later, by 131 votes, I guess it was, I wasn't back. And it was a good lesson in life, a great lesson in life. But I never gave up. I continued to work on all the committees that I was assigned to by council over the years, things like the picnic and Youth Week and the Traffic Safety Council, things that this lady, Anna Lettieri, pushed me to do. So did others on council. I remember Merv Montgomery, who was a neighbor 2 blocks away, and actually my brother Sal bought his first house when the Montgomerys moved here to Van Houten Avenue to a big house. I grew up in the best place in the world, Day Street, Clifton, New Jersey. My neighbors were second to none. They were like family. Even my neighbors today, the new neighbors, are like family. I love when the kids across the street scream out my name, Jimmy. And then when I come home, they scream out my name, Jimmy. And they watch the house. They're very good. And I remember when I first became mayor in 1990, The Record, Jenny Del Monte, who was a great reporter. Matter of fact, we've had great reporters in most of the generations of our being in public life who have really tried to report. The papers are different today. It's so different than today. But back then, newspapers meant a lot. And she had this front page article about me, and the article headline was, "Just call me Jimmy." And all these years, I've corrected people so many times. because someday you're not going to be this anymore. But my 96-year-old Aunt Rosie, she said back in probably February when I first broached the idea about not running again, she said to me, Jimmy, you know, you've been there a long time, the people love you, and you're going out on top. And that's really true, and on my own terms. And being on my own terms is an important thing. I think probably more important than most other things. You know, when I lost the election in 1982, I remember saying to the press, you know, when God closes one door, he opens another. And on January 1st, I don't know what that door is going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be something. But I do know one thing. It'll always be in my hometown, Clifton, New Jersey. I always know that I have a family and friends that love me and have supported me throughout all the trials and tribulations, especially these last 4 years. And I just know that this is, you know, when my grandparents came here, my great aunts and uncles came here, they were the salt of the earth. They came here, poor people. They came in on some crazy ship, you know, that they probably had the cheapest tickets because they were poor. They came here to another place called Passaic, and after the war, many people in Passaic, probably many of your families, moved to Clifton. They bought the Cape Cods along Valley Road, and hundreds of families came. Zeckers were one of them on Maplewood. And my parents decided, first, to almost buy an acre of land on Pershing Road. And the reason they didn't buy the acre of land on Pershing Road was there was no telephone poles. And my mom said to my father, I'm a city girl, we have a telephone. Probably for a party, but they had a telephone. And they instead bought the 50 by 100 lot on Day Street and built a traditional Italian brick home, which is headquarters for my family. And it'll be until the day I die. I want to make sure we keep that house because it means so much to our memories and so much to that neighborhood. My next door neighbor, Ann, has been here since I was born. Family to us. She had to move to a home, and the house is getting sold. That's probably more emotional than anything to me in these last 6 months, because I remember her mother and father, her husband, her kids, her grandkids, all part of our lives, and my cousins and everybody. We all grew up in the same neighborhood. I guess we ruled the neighborhood pretty well, and I don't know. I grew up, and I think I'm just talking about my grandparents. I don't think they ever thought that anybody in their family would be a mayor or a principal or a Superior Court judge or teachers, because they just didn't have that thought. But they knew one thing about America. If you work hard, you get ahead. If you work hard, you get ahead. And I always instill that into every new person. And I hope the one thing that I leave is the love of everyone, no matter who they are, where they come from, what language they speak, what color is their skin, or anything else. They are in the United States of America, and they came here because they wanted to be part of this country. And they worked hard, my grandparents, and they made it for us. And they'll be in my soul until I go meet them someday. So all I can say is thank you very much for all the support and friendship you've all given me. And I've said this recently a couple times. I once went to a funeral at St. Clair's, and an Irish priest, he explained that the common goodbye really means God be with you. God be with you all. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I guess you have to read the in-camera session. Put your windshield wipers on.
Items discussed in executive session tonight were 1, Enzaldi Park improvement bids, legal opinion. 2, Dawes Line Road sidewalk project, potential litigation. 3, DXC Technology versus City of Clifton tax appeal. 4, Fire Department antenna license agreement negotiations. 5, roof truss repair bids, legal opinion. And I have 3 late resolutions. R 634, resolution authorizing purchase of radio communication equipment and accessories off the New Jersey State Contract Purchasing Program pursuant to NJSA 40A 11-12A. R 635, resolution authorizing and ratifying end-of-year payment for custodial services performed by North Jersey Friendship House. R 636, resolution authorizing tax appeal settlement, Block 7101, Lot 70. Do you have any exceptions, Mayor?
No, I don't.
Okay. We're going to need motions to table 593, 595, 601, and 602.
I'll make that motion to table those resolutions.
Second.
And can I get a separate roll
Hearing no
call vote
objections, so
on
ordered.
585?
Okay.
Okay, separate roll call.
I'll move 585.
What?
Roll call?
Roll call on 585. Councilman Eagler?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
No.
Mayor Ansaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried. Motion for the group?
Motion to move the group.
Second.
Councilman
Roll
Eagler?
Yes.
Councilman Gibson?
Yes.
Councilman Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Pino?
Yes.
Councilman Sedgwick?
Yes.
Mayor Ansaldi?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.